Hi everyone, welcome to Getting to Know Kingman. I'm your host, Earl Hamlyn. All right folks, there's a lot going on in Mohave County, and today I have a special guest, Butch Meriwether, and he is one of those concerned citizens that live in Mohave County, and he wants to share some of his opinions and some of his facts as well, and he would like to talk about our county manager who seems to be kind of working against the rest of us. Anyway, don't go away. We've got a lot to show for you, a lot of information, and we'll be right back after these messages. You're watching Getting to Know Kingman. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Getting to Know Kingman, and welcome, I guess, Butch Meriwether. Hi, Butch. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, Earl. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I know how busy you are. So let's kind of get into this, okay? There's a lot going on in the county. A lot of folks are a little upset or disappointed in our county manager. Tell me, and you wrote an article that was published in the Kingman Daily Miner?
It was on the Kingman Daily Miner website called Butch's Brew. I have an online blog with them.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about that article.
Well, basically, I call for the termination of County Manager Ron Walker. Reason being is because he's out of control. He's disrespecting the citizens, disrespecting the supervisor. You know, he worked for the supervisors. The supervisors do not work for him. He just, you know, he attacks people who question anything that he's doing.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is he doing a good job as a county manager technically? Okay, I know, and we're going to have to kind of put his job duties into categories. Technically, is he doing a good job? Is he spending a lot of money? Has he met the budget? How do you feel about that?
Oh, I think he's spending excessively. Okay. I mean, an example is the security system in place at the Mohave County Administration Building here in Kingman. I think it was unnecessary. It was over expenditure. He brought in extra employees, all allegedly because he received a letter from somebody threatening his life. Now, nobody's ever seen this letter outside of Ron Walker.
The letter wasn't even submitted to the supervisors?
I don't know. Gary Watson told me that he didn't see the letter. He was aware of it. And that's my thing. Is it a fabrication on Walker's part in order to reward people? You know, and I'm not saying that there's nepotism going on, but however, certain county employees that work for Ron Walker, their spouses started working in the security department.
I see. Okay, now do you think the security system is warranted or not warranted?
No, I think it's over the top. I really do.
Too much?
You know, my question is, why did they have it at the county administration building but no other place? Although from what I understand, they are in a process of going out for bids to put the same type of security in the Lake Havasu complex. Okay,
now you mentioned earlier in the segment that he was out of control. What do you mean by that?
Well, that's what I mean. He's just doing whatever he wants. And the problem is, basically the current board of supervisors are rubber stamping it. I mean, with the 3 supervisor system, as long as he can get 2 votes, it's a go.
And do you not think that he answers to all of the supervisors or just to 2 of the supervisors?
I think just to 2 at the most.
Just to 2 at
and my question is, are the 2 supervisors that he answers to, are they actually in his pocket or underneath his thumb or control?
I see. Okay, now there's been some controversy about a leasing of a location for a library, an annex library. Tell me, and you wrote some of this, you mentioned some of this in your blog. So tell me a little bit about your opinion of that.
Well, I think it was not handled properly. One of the things that did not occur is Arizona Revised Statute 38509, or I should say 38503, stipulates that if a county employee or their family member has an interest in a contract, they are required to fill out a conflict of interest form, and the county itself is required through 38509 to maintain that file and those forms. And of course the employee has to refrain from voting or negotiating a contract or whatever. That was not done, as far as I know, in regards to the library annex on Gordon. Because I've already requested information and I've already been told that the county does not maintain such a file.
Okay, now all records are open to the public through the county, okay? And now they're actually saying that there is no record of this with the county?
That is correct.
And that's what you were told by a county official?
I specifically asked 2 county officials or employees who maintain the file that is state mandated, and they said they didn't know.
Okay, now, did you request this file to be given to you from the county manager's office?
Yes.
Okay.
But I didn't ask them to give me the file. I requested permission to come and view the file so I could see specifically what was in the file.
But they can make copies for you.
They can at 20 cents a sheet, but
Sure.
that's fine. That doesn't bother me.
Well, I mean, a lot of the viewers may not know that all the records of the county are public, and they can make copies for you. You don't have just to go view them. You can go request the copies, they'll make the copies for you, and then you can come back later at a later date and pick them up. You know, and like you said, at a cost. Okay, so when you were requested to view these records, and they said no, what was your procedure after that? What did you do after that?
Well, I haven't actually got an official no.
Oh, I see.
I'm still waiting for an answer, so I go view it. However, others who have requested the same file have been told that the county does not maintain that file, one of which was Supervisor Gary Watson.
He requested a file.
He called Ron Walker and another employee into his office, and when he questioned Manager Walker about it, supposedly Walker went postal, as it were. That's the term that he used, and started screaming and saying, well, they can just sue me.
Who is they?
I don't know. Whoever.
You mean the public can just sue him?
I guess so.
Okay, well, okay.
I don't know. But to digress in regards to the library annex on Gordon, as you asked, current procurement regulations say that they do not have to go out with open bids. They can just, if they find a building that they like, they can negotiate a contract.
Okay, so let's go back to the very beginning of this contract. Was that regulation in place when this contract was originally initiated?
Yes.
So they did not have to go out to open bids. And when was this contract initiated? In 2007?
It was January 2007.
Okay, so in 2007, they did not really have, the county did not have to go out and elicit bids for renting or leasing a location. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying?
That is correct.
Okay.
However, to go back to the Arizona Revised Statute, that form should have been filled out by the employees of the county that have an interest in that building. And it should have been part of the information agenda packet, and there was no such information in there.
Okay, so in your opinion, how was this location decided upon? How was this location picked in your opinion?
Well, I'd have to pull that answer out of the air, but I would surmise, since the library district reports to County Manager Ron Walker, that they probably called his office, stopped by his office, and of course the person works in his office, said when they found out they wanted to have a building, they probably said, well, I got a building you can lease. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Well, under speculation and in your opinion, again.
I would say probably that person who works for Ron Walker told them that they had a building available for rent.
Okay, now there's a lot of a lot of viewers, okay, including myself and everything. We're always kind of suspicious about county employees or city employees or federal employees or whatever about the conflict of interest, okay? And a lot of folks don't really understand conflict of interest. You know, I didn't in the very beginning as well. But there's also, and with the conflict of interest, there has to be a monetary exchange, okay? Monetary value has to be into it. So, but you're saying, in your opinion, again, is that when this building was leased, okay, there was a form that should have been filled out and filed, but it wasn't filled out and filed. To your knowledge.
To my knowledge, it wasn't.
Okay.
And the thing is, if they would have filled out that one-page form, all of this would have been alleviated. You know, they could say, yes, I got an interest in this building because I'm partners in a corporation that own the building, and we're prepared to lease it to the county. And then they could have just stepped back and there wouldn't have been any problem. But now, because, excuse me, because they violated Arizona Revised Statute 38503, the penalty, if they knowingly did it, is a Class 6 felony.
Sure. Okay, so how did they violate it? By not filling out this form?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. Okay, now this was all brought up at a supervisor's meeting, this lease and the renewal of this lease as well. Okay, so, and this was brought up by Hildy
Angus.
Angus, okay. And this is one of your concerns is with the county manager as well. There seemed to be a lot of hostilities exchanged or verbal hostilities exchanged at the meeting. Is that correct?
I don't think there was any verbal hostilities on Hildy Angus's part.
I see.
You know, she only questioned how the lease came about.
Mm-hmm.
Directly after that meeting, County Manager Ron Walker wrote a 5-page letter, sent it to Chairman Buster Johnson mm-hmm. and Mohave County Attorney Matt Smith, and basically said that Hildy Angus's appearance before the board was like the Jerry Springer show. And in the same letter, he also attacked Gary Watson for not taking the time to walk down to his office and ask him questions. And this all relates back to Walker thinking that the Board of Supervisors worked for him versus him working for the supervisors. Okay.
So why I know you can't answer for Mr. Walker, and I'm not asking you to, but why do you think that it got so emotional at the meeting? Because she asked questions of Mr. Walker and the staff, or because they could not provide answers at the time that she asked the questions?
Well, I think it's twofold. I think, one, that they were not able to provide the answers, and secondly, every time that somebody questions Walker about what he's doing, he takes a verbal attack or he attacks them. Okay.
So for Miss Angus to be able to ask questions about this item, the item had to be pulled. Now, I understand the item was on the consent agenda.
That is
and
correct.
It was pulled off by Mr. Watson, Supervisor Watson, for discussion. And that's how Miss Angus and several others got to be able, or other folks be able to discuss that. Is that correct?
That is correct. And in matter of fact, in the 5-page rant by Walker, mm-hmm. he accused Watson of pulling the consent agenda item because of either Hildy Angus or her campaign manager. I subsequently spoke in the January meeting of this year and stood right before the board and said, "You are incorrect. I was the one that contacted Gary Watson and asked for that to be pulled from the consent agenda so I could talk about it or just, come before the board." However, excuse me, the reason I didn't originally speak before the board when it was pulled is because then I found that there were other people that were going to be discussing it, and I felt that their views coincided with mine, so why waste the county's time and the public's time?
Okay. All right, I got to take a little break here, and then we'll be back and we'll discuss this issue further, okay?
Surely.
All right, we're going to take a little break here. We'll be right back after these messages. You're watching Getting to Know Kingman. Don't go away. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Getting to Know Kingman, and welcome back my guest, Butch Meriwether, who is a blogger for the Kingman Daily Miner. Correct?
Oh, I'm a citizen journalist, as it were.
Oh, okay.
Which I have a blog.
You're a freelance journalist.
That's right. I do not get paid. I do not get paid for anything I write. This is all therapy for me, being able to keep my mind active.
So basically, everything is your opinion.
That is correct.
Good. Okay. All right. So now we were talking about the situation with the county. Okay. You have called for Ron Walker to be terminated, or county manager to be terminated. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Now now we all know that if a person is terminated under a contract, there's some payments to be made and whatever the contract reads. So you have some alternatives to him being dismissed. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, what are those alternatives?
Well, the Board of Supervisors have some options available to them. Mm-hmm. Which one will they choose? Who knows? First option, of course, would be for them not to do anything. And I think that will seal their political fate.
Isn't that what they're doing now?
Basically, that's what they're doing.
Okay.
Second thing...
Okay, let me ask you, what do you mean by not do anything? Not reprimand him, not discipline him, not...
Just let him continue to run rampant as he is now and embarrassing the county and possibly exposing the county to more lawsuits depending upon what he does between now and December 31st when his alleged retirement occurs.
Okay, now, Butch, let me ask you, why do you think he's running rampant? I mean, define what your opinion is of him running rampant.
Well, the thing is what
I mean, just because he's not managing the county the way you would, or I would, or someone else would, why do you think it's rampant?
Well, one, I think that he's wasting county taxpayer funds.
Okay.
An example is this over-the-top excessive security system that he's in place at the county administration building. Second thing is, any time that somebody questions what he's doing, he immediately goes into the attack dog mode and writes letters to the newspaper and to various other people attacking them, one of which was the five-page rant that he did in regards to Hildy Angus and Gary Watson, of which he referred Hildy Angus's appearance before the board as the Jerry Springer show.
He seems to have a great desire to write, and maybe he should be a blogger as well. He's not only written this 5-page letter recently, but he's written some other letters in the past, which kind of gives me a think that he has a history there of writing his opinions.
Well, he may write them, or he may have somebody else write them.
Sure,
I don't know. You know, if you look at the phraseology between Ron Walker and Public Information Officer Darrell Purcell, they're isomorphic in that, I don't know, it'd be my opinion that possibly that maybe Walker calls Purcell into the office and said, this is what I want to cover, here's my bullet points, write the thing and then I'll put my name to it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. All right, so let's get back to your alternatives. What does the county supervisor, what kind of alternatives do they have?
Well, another solution is they could redesignate his responsibilities and put him in such a position. I put in my blog a bucket and a mop, but they could reassign him a job that does not have exposure to the public or expose the county to possible more lawsuits. The best one would be, of course, if they fire him, he's going to get 1 year's golden parachute, benefits, salary, everything for a year. He's due to retire December 31st. So if they send him home on paid administrative leave, specifically stating that you have nothing to do with the county, you are not allowed to negotiate, to speak for, or do anything to represent the county, and you must check in once a week. This way, he can't cause the county any more problems until December 31st. Then he's going to go away and he'll get his retirement.
And okay, so what would happen after that? Let's say he goes away. So what's after that?
Well, the thing
who
is,
would be county manager then?
Well, and
so how would the county be managed?
There's a couple solutions that they could do in regards to that. One, they could take one of the 4 deputy county managers, put them in as an interim county manager. But I think the most viable one would be to not fill that position, let the 4 deputy county managers honcho their respective areas and have them report to the board of supervisors. Have the supervisors do what they're supposed to do, supervise.
I see, okay.
And then when the 5 new supervisors take over, be it all 5 new or partially, who knows, that'll be determined at the election, then let them go out and do a search for a new county manager.
Okay, now a lot of folks have said something about when the 5 new supervisors or when the 5 seats are being filled by supervisors, okay? That's a huge responsibility because some of them may not have any experience at being in the county business. That would be kind of a really large responsibility of trying to find a new county manager on a very short term. So an interim county manager is definitely going to be there a while. Let's say if Mr. Walker leaves for whatever reason, his position, and an interim is appointed, that interim is going to be carried over possibly into the new 5 supervisors realm as well. Is that correct? I mean,
that's what I would assume. You know, they have 4 people who I would hope that are knowledgeable enough to do that job temporarily. I mean, that's what the responsibility of a leader is, to lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way. And part of that responsibility would be teach the people under you to do your job.
I see. So I would think maybe one of the 4 deputy county supervisors might be interested in the position as well.
I've heard those rumors.
Okay. So now, if Mr. Walker, let's say Mr. Walker leaves for whatever reason, okay, what would you think the best exit would be for Mr. Walker?
Well, I think he needs to go home and stay out of the county business, because if he stays here, there's a possibility that what he says or what he does may cause the county to be sued again for something.
I see.
That's just pure speculation, but why expose the county to possibly being sued for his actions? Why not just send him home? Okay,
now, have you and some of your associates that they're concerned about this as well, in your opinion, have you guys approached the supervisors about saying, hey, why don't you sit down and talk with Mr. Walker and see if we can get some kind of attitude change about it all? Apparently you think his attitude is really bad, so have you talked to our current supervisors about that?
I have talked to one of the supervisors, and I really don't want to say which one it is, and saying that, they need to do something because he is out of control. And I believe that if the supervisors do this, I think that they will, depend upon who it is, if it's just two of them, or even just one that speaks up against it, they're going to shine, and it's going to help them possibly get reelected. What I believe is the county government needs to have a total transparency. They cannot hide and do things in the smoke-filled back rooms of the county administration building. It all has to be upfront and a board so people will know exactly what's going on, because when you start doing little things like that, what that does is that makes people say what's going on, they question what's going on, and they believe that maybe illegal things are going on.
Yeah, that definitely does bring a rise to suspicion if it's not done with transparency, like you said. Okay, now if you feel so strongly about this, and you apparently have attended a lot of the meetings as well, have you been able to express your concerns at any of the supervisors' meetings?
Yes, I talked about the library annex at the January, I think it was January if I remember right, of this year, in which I suggested that they use a different building. I know that there are county-owned buildings that have adequate space that they could house them, one of which is the Oak County Jail. Now, I personally spoke with the fire chief here in Kingman, and he said, yes, the building's fire suppression system is currently engineered for people.
Oh, okay.
It would have to be re-engineered. But he also said in the same breath that re-engineering could be as simple as changing out the sprinkler heads.
I see.
And there are so much space available in that building to house the library annex, other offices. I mean, here's another example, is the county right now down the street here on Beale is renting a building from the Duttons at about $1,800 a month, and have been since I know of. They could move that into that building. Storage. They wouldn't have to rent space from private companies to store records.
Or build a storage facility for
well,
the records.
Why build something when they had that big giant building? Now the thing is, what's interesting though,
are you talking about the Arnold Plaza building?
No, I'm talking about the building, the Old County Jail behind Superior Court.
I see. Okay.
And what's interesting though is the county owns that building, but if you look at the county assessor's website, it says that a bank corporation out of Phoenix owns the building. Now, did the county use it as collateral? I don't know.
I see. Okay.
These are other questions that need to be asked.
Okay, now where can folks, how often is your blog published?
It's up continually.
Oh, it is? Okay.
All they got to do is go to the Kingman Daily Miner website, go to blogs, and you'll see Butch's Brew, and there's other blogs too from other people too that have, they put their opinions and stuff on there, and they write about things. Sometimes I write things I'll call hit pieces, but then sometimes I write nice things. Okay. Of course, my sweetheart tells me that I always have to tell her in advance when I'm writing a hit piece, because she wants to put on her bulletproof vest.
I see. Well, I'm out of time, Butch. Thank you very much. How can if the viewers have any questions, they can just contact you through your blog?
That is correct. Okay. It has my Butch's Brew email address right on there. Okay, and, and I'm just basically just to entertain and cause people to think, debate, and hopefully change if change is needed.
Well, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. And if you have any questions of Mr. Meriwether, please check out his blog. And again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Getting to Know Kingman.